custom data layer values feature on the native data layers listener is what really truly starts to add value to this listener. The listener itself allows you to identify events that are natively built into your website's data layer activity and tell ListenLayer to listen for that information and repopulate that into the data layer so that you can do something with it using ListenLayer. And most likely what you're going to be doing with it is that you're going to be customizing that data layer activity and or storing information from the data layer into the browser. If you're not familiar with this listener, go ahead and jump into this Capture Native Data Layers event. There'll be a video posted here shortly that will include the foundational information for exactly how to use this listener. So in this case, we'll carry forward with the example from that video. And we have two events that we care about, the update pet and the forms step. And over on our website here, we can see we have these two native events being pushed into the data layer. And we have ListenLayer then responding with native data layer events, which allow us to then customize things. And so what we're going to do here is we are currently on step number 5. What I'd like to do is indicate that step number 7 would be a high quality user. And I want to build that directly into my data layer so that it's just clear. I'm going to make a pretty basic and simple rule for this, but you could do something more complicated like accumulate a user score as they progress through the funnel, or put different thresholds of quality on different steps. In this case, we're going to target a single step. And so the first thing to do here is to turn on your custom data layer values, and you'll get this custom values screen. And if you need to learn more about how to write simple and complex rules, watch that video there. We're going to just write a simple rule, and this is going to be called a high quality activity. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be looking for a particular, kind of think through how we're going to do this. We're going to look for a particular native data layer. And when this is true, and when the step, what we care about is the step here. Step number. So form step details, which is inside the native data layer. So we're going to find this step number. And when the step number is equal to 7, what we'd like to do is indicate that this is a high quality user. Now, in this case, we don't have a variable defined for our data layer that is super relevant. We could use quality chat, or we could use user score. Just to save my rule, I'm going to set a value to quality chat, and I'm going to save it, but I'm not going to publish my changes. So I'm going to say yes, and I'll come back and change that in. This brings up an interesting point, which is that when you write rules to push custom values into the data layer, we also need a custom variable to push the value into. And if I jump up here to custom data layer variables at a global level, this is where I'm going to do that. So we're going to create a new one here. It's going to be called, let's just call it high quality activity. And now that that's available to us, we're going to go back down to our custom values rule. We'll edit that, and we'll change the variable that we're putting this into, high quality funnel activity. We're going to indicate yes, it's high quality funnel activity. And perhaps we decide we want to also include a timestamp. Let's include the full JavaScript timestamp. So we're going to save that. We're going to publish our changes. High quality funnel activity. And we'll come over here. We're going to do a hard refresh just to get our latest changes. Of course, we have ListenLayer running on this website already. And this funnel is going to take us back to the same place. So let's go ahead and continue to fill out the funnel. So we proceeded through with a step here. Oh, and it looks like our, oh, I had to scroll up. Okay, so going to our latest information here, we have form step now. And notice that our pet information has not been firing like it was in the past, and that's because in the funnel we've moved to where the person is giving us their personal information, not the pet information. And so form step is now the only one that's actually triggering this native data layer activity. You can see we're on step number 6. We have no custom values because back in our rule here, we wanted the form step to equal 7, and then that's what we're going to consider to be high quality. So we're going to go next here on steps, and what we'll notice, we have one more step and some corresponding native data layer activity. And notice now that we have this value in our data layer called, the yes as well as the full timestamp. And so let's say you have multiple paths or multiple conversions and you want to, in a funnel, and you want to be able to draw kind of a line in the sand across both of them and indicate at what point you would consider something to be high quality. Then you could centralize that information using a variable like this. Now, there are probably hundreds of other use cases where you'd want to target your native data layer activity and push custom values into the data layer. This is just one example. Really, the sky is the limit. So start thinking of how you can apply this in your situation and let us know if you have any questions.